Career transitions can be tough. The average person will change careers 5 to 7 times during their working life, according to Novo Resume. So where do you start when it's time to make a change? I'm joined by 2 athletes turned business owners, and they are live from the Connor Group's IPO Summit at the New York Stock Exchange. We've got Ralph Sampson, who is the NBA Hall of Famer and CEO of the Sampson Group, and Jelani Jenkins, who is a former NFL player and CEO of Postseason. Guys, great to have you here on the program with us. I mean, as we think about what your transitions have been like, just share with us what that journey has been, and then ultimately how you're speaking to other athletes, getting a pulse check of where there are other major names that are on the field or on the court, and trying to also make sure that they get into the boardroom as well.
Right. Thank you guys for having us at the 12th annual IPO Summit here at New York Stock Exchange with the Connor Group. So this is my second, this is Jelani's 4th time here. Yep. And so we're always excited to be here on the floor where all the action is. It's crazy to be here, and we enjoy coming here, so forth and so on. So for me, just the transition from really playing at a high level to life and kids and business, it's a tough transition. It's a hard way to go. But if you learn to take what you learn in sports to life and implement that in some way, because there's going to be an adjustment, but there's a knowledge-based power that you don't know. I went to the University of Virginia, Dart School, stuff like that, but some things I still didn't know from a business perspective, so I had to kind of go back to school and learn the hard way in some respects, but also understand what I want to do, what's my passion as well.
Yeah, like Ralph said, it was a very challenging transition. I remember in 2018 when I made my transition, I didn't know who I was, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and it was really challenging. I couldn't even watch sports on television. It was really challenging. And ultimately, what really helped me out was to acknowledge that I needed help, reaching out to the support system in my network and connecting me with a mentor. That's actually how I got connected with the Connor Group and the IPO Summit. They became really mentors to me. And ultimately, what I learned through that process, through my own self-discovery, through my own journey, was that I didn't have to give up my identity as an athlete. Right. That's our strength. And so just learning how to reintegrate that into the next phase of life was really the biggest lesson that I took.
Absolutely. Well, you guys shared 5 tips with us, and I want to run through them and get you to add a little more color to them as well here. And those 5 tips were building and leveraging your network, defining your next play, be coachable, master your mindset, and feed your inner athlete. Ralph, I'll start with you. What advice can you share for someone looking to build a strong network?
Yeah, it's hard because we always put on the pedestal, whatever. But now you got to go into the real world like a business person. But you attract a lot of people. So in life, to me, everything has a system. So if I know what I want to do and have a passion for it, even if I don't know all the details, let's say it's a basketball or business or whatever, and I meet somebody, and the first thing I'm going to do is say, "What do you do?" Because they know what I do, but I don't know what they do. So I'm going to be very nice. If they are interested in me in a certain way, and it's about the business world, I usually put it in my right pocket. If they're not, I put them in my left pocket, but always respond back to somebody within 24 hours, no matter who they are, but also try to cultivate it. And I have a 7-step strategy where between the first step and the 7th step, I should have a business deal done by then. And it took me a while to build that, but that's the way I operate, and that's the way I've been successful thus far.
That's really insightful. Jelani, why is it so important to be coachable when transitioning careers?
It's very important because we just don't know what we don't know. And as athletes, we love being coached. We love having a playbook. We love for somebody to tell us, hey, you do this, you're going to be successful. And we love to just shut our mind off and go for it. And so being coachable, seeking examples, seeking mentorship of those who have already been where it is that you want to go is so vitally important. And it's really about acknowledging that, hey, I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know how to do this. And that takes some vulnerability, which is a little bit challenging for us athletes sometimes, is to say, hey, I don't know. But when you do that, there's a lot of courage and there's a lot of strength in it. And then ultimately being hungry enough to learn how, being hungry enough to take the advice, being vulnerable and hungry enough to start over from the beginning in a new phase of life and say, hey, I'm going to get good at this, I'm going to get great at this, and to chase your passions that way. So it all starts with being coachable and having good mentorship around you.
Yeah, you talk about being hungry. Ralph, you say you got to feed that inner athlete. Break down what that means.
Well, it's like they usually in my day, did you have a tapeworm because they're so skinny, whatever, or something wrong with you? But it's like that inner fire, right? You took You know, they always say you take the great Kobe Bryants and the Magic Johnsons, LeBron and Michaels. They always say, who's the GOAT? There's no GOAT. Each of them have an internal fire that they want to be great. And you can compare themselves. You might ask that, what's that internal fire look like? And we all have it as people. No matter what it is in sports or life, you have to get up every day, no matter what you do, and have that internal fire to be great or good or average. And it's your choice to pick. And everybody can be great if they want to be, but what you're great at, I don't care if it's taking the trash out, you can be great at doing something. And so my days start with, even if I'm in a hotel, I have to make the bed up every morning. I don't care where I go.
There you go.
Make that bed up, because that's my success, first success of the day. The room is straight, everything is organized. If I'm not organized, I have a bad day. My parents taught me to make my 80% better than anybody else's 100%. So that's the way I was raised.
Yeah.
There you go.
Ralph and Jelani, just lastly, while we have you here, this is a totally new environment compared to even when you both were mastering sport at the collegiate level and then getting to the pro level. For college students, they're looking to build wealth via NIL earlier, and I wonder how you're evaluating the landscape right now with so many changes that have come fast and furious, and the advice you would have for young athletes who are looking to build and maintain wealth over the long run.
Well, I know both of us would say, I need to go back to college at least for one more year.
I wish.
I think I missed out on that as well. And I could go Kentucky or whatever. I mean, you got guys coming out getting $4 million a year, whatever. It's crazy money. But think about all the things we're talking about here and all the ramifications of getting that type of money. Don't know taxes, don't know business, don't know, and I use the word don't know because you don't know what you don't know, right? So those things are hurting the American athlete right now, in my opinion, especially in basketball and football, because there's money out there, but they're not being educated. Even at my institution, North Virginia, it's more warehousing athletes right now. You've got to get those grades, and you've got to understand what life's about, because that money's not going to last long, because as soon as you get it, you're going to have a tax issue.
Yeah, that's real. I mean, it's a whole new environment, a whole different set of rules that we're constantly still figuring out. What I will say is I do think that I appreciate the incentivizing for athletes to take their brand seriously. It's something that I wish I did while I was playing. The fact that NIL is available, it does allow athletes to take branding seriously, learn how to tell their story in a way where when they do stop playing, they will have those skill sets. So there's a lot of cons with NIL, but there's also a lot of pros. And I think it's just new, and we're constantly figuring out day by day. It's constantly changing. So
it's going to change, and hopefully it will get better at some point in time. I just don't want the kids to get hurt coming out and not being educated from high school and or college, because that money's going to run out, and then NBA, NFL runs out at some point in time, and what are you going to do after that?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Really great points, and thanks so much for taking the time. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the IPO Summit. Ralph Sampson and Jelani Jenkins, thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Certainly.